All right, so when we talk about punishment, the whole idea is that for punishment to work, it must be first consistent. Punishment to work must be consistent. Punishment to work must be consistent. It must also be swift. Why do you think it's important for it to be consistent and swift? Okay, they know what they literally know. There's a punishment. Let's just use a dog for example. Dog poops on your carpet. He pooped on your carpet this morning. You tell the dog, when I get home, I'm gonna punish you for pooping on the carpet. Has no idea. But if soon as the dog did this and it was consistent all the time, would the behavior change faster? Okay, that's the whole idea. Swift and consistent. Okay. Another thing that has to happen, the punishment has to actually be geared towards the person or the I don't call a dog a person, an object. I don't think they're an object. Being. The punishment must be appropriate for the being. Does that make sense? If you are not affected by your phone being taken away, is that a punishment if I take away your phone? Okay, a lot of your parents might have started this. The first child, the punishment worked, and they just kept doing the punishment to every child thereafter. But if it doesn't influence or affect you, you keep doing the same behavior because it doesn't bother you. Does that make sense? All right. All right, so we talk about punishment concepts. First one, always know punishment is aversive. Aversive means it hurts, it's uncomfortable. Punishment is always aversive. It hurts and it's uncomfortable. Okay, escape learning. How many of you here have gotten a spanking before? Okay. Escape learning is literally learning to do something to stop the pain. Learning to do something to stop the pain. During your spanking, what did you do to try to stop the pain? Run. Escape learning. Cry. Escape learning. Accidentally grab the belt. Okay. If you've ever got a really good spanking, everybody has accidentally, your hand extended, your reflexes were really good, and you accidentally grabbed it. And then your parents said, let it go. And your thought was, I can't do that. Okay? And they're like, I suggest you let it go. And you're like, I really wish I can, but I can't. What you are doing is you have escape learning. You learned how to stop the pain. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Avoidance learning, and literally what it says, you avoid pain. Punishment. Who's got a punishment for not coming to home for a curfew on time? Look at you guys. I'm so proud of you. All right. So let's just say you didn't come home. Curfew's at 12. You're at a party that's, really exciting. And you look at the clock and it says 11:55. What's your thought? I'm going to get in trouble anyway. Party till 2 o'clock. Why? I might as well avoid this as much as possible. Avoidance learning. You learn to avoid punishment as long as possible. Some of you need to go to the dentist. You know you need to go to the dentist. Your teeth have hurt for the last 2 weeks. You have Oragelled it, Tylenol, Motrin. All you are doing is avoidance learning. You are trying to postpone the pain. Agree? Got it? Good. Always know punishment usually increases aggression. Who was ever sent to their room after you got a spanking or yelled at and you felt very angry? You walked upstairs. You caught yourself stumping, but you kind of did it softly. Then when you got upstairs, you slammed your door, yet when it closed, you held it. When the doors closed, what did you do behind those doors? You were like, and she like, you saying something? No. Why? Because punishment causes aggression. Okay? Kevin Hart is a good person that tells you punishment causes aggression. You get mad and you just like, okay? Does that make sense? My brother always ran away. Every time he got a spanking, he ran away. He would go in the room packing all his stuff. And I'm like, well, stop doing it. You got to spank for the same thing 5 times. And do you learn? He never made it out the door, but he would just pack. Then you have to unpack. Okay, so punishment and concepts. All right, we've learned generalization before, haven't we? What does it mean? You on a roll. Get like? Perfect. You generalize over one concept. Same with operant conditioning, generalizing over one concept. You think one thing is a reward, you think it all is a reward. You generalize over one concept. Discrimination, what does it mean? We've done this one. What stimulus discrimination mean? That would be the other discrimination, but what's stimulus discrimination? You learn to react to only certain stimulus. Why are we writing this down when we've already written this down? Oh, you want to really remember it. Okay. Reinforcement. All right. Okay. Right. What does extinction mean? You no longer react to it. What does spontaneous recovery mean? It comes back all of a sudden. Very good. At least we got the last two. You then have what is called shaping. Shaping is literally when a person has done something in regards to reward and punishment to make you do things they want you to do. Shaping is when a person uses reward and punishment to make you do something they want you to do. They have shaped you. Your parents have shaped you. What are some examples of things that your parents have shaped you to do through reward and punishment? Potty training. You pooped in your pants? Shouldn't have. I don't know. Anyone, a parent here? What did you do when your child poops in the pants after you've gone through the whole process? All she did was like, oh. At what point do you get upset? When they pee in the bed. And is there a punishment or reward for peeing in the bed? That's okay. We accept mean. What type of punishment is that? Is school? Negative because she did what? Took something away. Okay, so she gave a negative punishment. What now does this child know regarding drinking late? They don't pee in the bed. But also, probably, I'm not going to ask for anything after this time because I won't get it. Why? That child's been shaped. How many of you are in relationship? You've really been shaped. Think of an example where your partner has shaped you. Can't go clubbing. Why? He hates it. So what happens if you do? He doesn't speak. What's that thing called? Ignoring me? Shaping. Anybody else have an example? Y'all don't want to share how your partners have shaped you, huh? Must be really bad. Okay? Shaping you. So you know, cook what he likes. I saw how you look when you turn around. You like, what? Don't cook nothing. And you turn back like, huh? possible. I'm learning how to cook now just because my boyfriend's moving down, and I'm like, dang it, I gotta learn how to cook. So I'm on Facebook learning recipes, and my brother has to eat it just because I'm like, what does it taste like? And he's like, I don't think you should cook this anymore. I'm like, okay. I'm just shaping myself because I do want him to eat, and I don't want to be divorced. So shaping happens. It's just something you do. Have a person always yelling at you about, let's just say, the garbage. What have they now shaped you to do? Take out the garbage. You see her coming around the corner, you like, oh my God, let me go get the garbage. Okay? Shaping. That's all that is. Does that make sense? You've been shaped through reward and punishment. Okay? Now, you've mastered this whole idea of shaping. You understand it. You've processed it. You've got operant conditioning. But now we're about to put it on a schedule. So now your reinforcers and punishments will be placed on a schedule. All right? And we're going to talk about different types of schedules. The first one we're going to talk about is a continuous schedule. Continuous probably means what? Continue. Okay? So the whole idea, we're going to break them down. Some schedules are continuous. Some schedules are continuous. It literally means you get a response after every behavior. Continuous means you get a response after every behavior. Let's say we try something in this class. I bring in candy, and every time you answer a question right, I give you a piece of candy. Continuous scheduling. What is this going to do for you? Once you get it right, does it help you? Why does it help you? And it does what in regards to the need for punishment? What do we say punishment has to be? Swift and consistent. Does that make sense? All right, so we're going to break them down even further. First one is a fixed ratio. Fixed means same. Fixed means same. Fixed means same. Ratio means the number of times you perform a behavior. Ratio, the number of times you perform a behavior. The number of times you perform a behavior. Does this make sense to everyone? Okay? Yes? Fixed interval. Interval represents anything on a clock. Interval represents anything on a clock. Intervals are time. Intervals are time. Time on a clock. Fixed means same, so I have a fixed ratio and a fixed interval. Fixed ratio means after every 2 times you do something, you get a spanking. After every 2 times you do something, you get a reward. Fixed interval, at 12 o'clock every day, you have lunch. At 2 o'clock every night, afternoon, you work out. Does that make sense? Fixed ratio, number of times you do a behavior. Fixed interval, the number of times on a clock. Yes? Got that? You sure? Okay. Because you know we're going to practice it in a minute after you learn the other ones. Variable. Variable means changing. Variable means changing. Variation, different. Variable means changing. Variation, different. Got that? Yes? Ratio means what? So if I have a variable ratio, it means what? Interval means what? If I have a variable interval, it means what? Yes? Let's practice. So let's go to our lovely. So let's try number 10. A supervisor comes into the workplace to check on her employees every hour and a half. An observer noticed that the workers increase their work behavior after 10 minutes before the supervisor arrives, and then decreases their work behavior after she leaves. On what type of reinforcer schedule are the workers? Fixed, we got that. Now fix what? Why is it an interval? Because it's time. Fixed interval, because it's the same time all the time. Yes? You need another one? Maybe not. Maybe not. So, you get paid every 2 weeks. Fixed. And what? What made it an interval? It's the time. Every 2 weeks. Minutes, seconds, hours, days, months are always going to be intervals. Years. Okay? I'll give you $100 after every 10 envelopes you stuff. Fixed ratio, because I'm counting what? Number of times you're doing something. Every so often, be here at 2, 3, 4, sometime in the afternoon. Variable what? Interval. Got it? You can master it on the test, correct? PJ's eyes just got big. Yes? Sign language, yeah? All right, okay. Some of y'all not saying nothing, you're just looking like whatever. All right, so we've mastered the ratios. When it comes to dopamine, what is dopamine? It's a type of a neurotransmitter. And dopamine, the one thing you want to know about dopamine, it allows you to organize your behavior. So when you are reinforced and you are rewarded for certain things, dopamine actually affects your ability to obtain the goal in regards to organizing the behavior according to the punishment and the reinforcer. Does that make sense? It's just an assistant to help you organize the new behavior, because learning is about doing what? What's the purpose of learning? To acquire knowledge. Is that the definition we say? It's to what? Which means so dopamine really just lets you do what? Acquire so that you can change behavior. Okay? You've learned 2 types of learning already. The first one was classical conditioning, founded by Pavlov using dogs. Then you learned about operant, founded by Skinner, using Skinner box. Let's try this again, because I'm feeling a little worried. Classical conditioning was founded by using. Operant conditioning was founded by using. One more time, because everybody wasn't together. Operant conditioning was founded by, see, look what happened. Y'all just repeated. You didn't even, regurgitation. You didn't even process. Operant conditioning founded by using classical conditioning founded by using all right, so reinforcers. Positive reinforcer I always do what? Give you something. Negative reinforcers are always reinforcers always do what to behavior? Increase it. Punishment always does what to behavior? All right. This is usually the area people have the most, that word positive and negative. Okay? Always remember, a positive punishment, it can hurt, it does hurt, but it's still giving something. A negative reinforcer always feels good, it's just taking something away. So don't get caught on the word positive and negative, negative always meaning something good. Okay? All right, so you've learned the two, you've got one more to do. Well, you've got two more to do. First one is cognitive learning. Cognitive learning, cognitive means what? What does cognitive mean? What does cognitive mean? What does cognitive mean? Okay, so it's how you process learning. The first one we talk about is latent learning. Using something at a later time. Latent learning. Using something at a later time. Using something at a later time. Because the definition of learning is that you do what to behavior? You have the what? Potential. So if I have the potential, it means I will use it when? Later. Latent learning. This was actually Toman and his rats. Toman had 3 sets of rats. Okay? And inside of his little chamber, he had 3 rats into 3 different groups. The first group actually received food after they received the goal every time. What type of schedule were they on? Continuous schedule. Second group never received food. Your third group received food after the 10th trial. Which group do you think learned the maze fastest? No. It's actually 3. Because what happens when I give you something every time you do something? You stop doing it, it's nothing special. What happens when I reward you every so often and you never know when it's coming? You pretty much stay consistent. Does this make sense? No? Use, for example, you ever have the child who gets a reward after everything they do? What type of child is that? A brat. How good are they at doing anything? Not pretty good. What happens when they don't get the reward? They have a problem. What happens to the child that occasionally they get rewarded for some pretty good behavior? How good is that child? Probably trying to be good as many times as they possibly can because they don't know if this is the time she's watching me. Okay? That's what Tomaine did. It's actually you latent learn. Let's take it a step further personally. As a child, how many of you kept the lights on when you walked out of a room? Don't lie, you know you all did it. What happened when you walked out of a room and your mom walked in and saw the lights on? She freaked out. Turn those lights off when you get out of this room. And you might have started doing it. You still might have forgot a couple times. You now live by yourself. How's those lights? They're off. You probably even say, we don't need lights. Open up the blind, light a candle. That TV does just enough. You always knew about the light, but not until you had to use it. Not until you had to pay the bill did it affect you. Refrigerator, lovely one. How many of you stood in front of the refrigerator looking for something? And what'd your mom tell you? Shut that door before you mess that food up. Now what do? What do I want when I get in this refrigerator? Why? Latent learning. You learn it, but you don't use it till later. Okay? Does that make sense? Now, in the whole idea of cognitive learning, you have what is called insight learning. It's the aha moment. Okay? You have no idea why you have learned this until you had to use it. I'm trying to think of something you might have learned. Percentages in math class. Perfect example. Did all of you learn this in grade school? 50% of something is yes? I hope so. No? Okay, I mean, sometime down there in 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th grade, you learn percentages, correct? Then you were there about to buy something and they told you 26% off. And you like, if only I paid attention in math class. It's the aha moment. Anybody ever got hurt in a relationship? And something that your mom or dad told you would have prevented that hurt? And when it happened, you were like, aha, that's what they meant by don't date jerks. Can't make a into a housewife. It's the aha moment. Got it? Okay. I don't really pay attention. You can read about Sultan and the Chimps, but I'll touch on it. The next type of learning is observational learning. Observational learning probably means I have to first do what? Watch. Okay? So it's Bandura who studied observational learning, and it's called the social learning theory. Observational learning is also called the social learning theory. And Bandura used what is called Bobo. Bobo was one of those punching bags that you punch, and it had the sand in the bottom, and when you punch it, it comes back up. No, everybody seen that? Okay. Bobo. That's Bobo. And what he did was he wanted to see how do children act if they watch something violent in regards to their interaction with someone else. So he had some children watch some violent videos. He then had them go inside and interact with Bobo. And he actually realized that the children start to model what they saw as positive interaction from what they watched on the video. Okay? And that's where you get the modeling. It's actually repeating what you've seen as appropriate behavior. Modeling. Repeating what you've seen as appropriate behavior. Repeating what you've seen as appropriate behavior. Has everyone seen the commercial with the little boy who follows his dad to go watch a football game on the couch? And he sits on the couch like his dad. He crosses his legs like his dad. He puts his hand behind his head like his dad. And they're drinking soda, orange soda, and his mom has this flash to give them some water. All that little boy doing is he's modeling. So as he grows up, what does he think he's supposed to do when he watches the football game? Exactly what his dad did. Okay? A little girl sits next to her mom. What does she do when she sits next to her mom? She'll probably sit just like she does. She's probably even carrying a purse. If you go inside that purse, you probably see some tissue, a penny, and something else she got off the floor before she left out. Okay, but she's going to carry that purse because she wants to be just like who? Her mom. Little boy is inside of the bathroom. He sees his father's razor. What does he start to do? Shave. He has no hair, but he wants to do what? Be like his dad. He's outside with his fake lawnmower. What is he doing? Modeling dad. He's following his dad. That's what this whole observational learning through watching someone else. Some of you learn to cook this way. You watch the person. They showed you how to do it by you just watching. Now you cook just like they do. Make sense? Easy to follow? It goes a little step further. A lot of times you'll hear people say, be very careful of the relationship your child sees you in because they'll think it's okay. Domestic violence is actually an observational learning experience. Okay? We have seen cycles to where usually the person that was in the relationship, the child that observed this relationship becomes an adult who does the same thing. Why? Because they've actually now realized that this is how you express love. This is how you accept love, and this is what is approvable in regards to saying you're in love with someone. Either you're beat or you're being beaten. Does that make sense? Observational learning. I'll disclose some things about my family. My dad was a wonderful father, but Papa was a Rolling Stone. Um, I have a sister that's literally 1 year, 1 week older than my younger brother. Me and my younger brother have the same mother. Me and my sister do not. So, growing up, when my parents got a divorce, me and my younger brother went to live with my mom. My mother has only dated one man her entire life, which was my dad, and they've been divorced since 1991. So what we saw was what my mom, you go to school, you finish school, you don't stop until you complete school totally. Dating is not really a necessary component of your life until you complete the other things. My middle brother went to live with my dad. Now when he went there, he saw the different lifestyle in regards to women and engaging in women. When we would go to my dad's house, because we went Tuesdays, Thursdays, and every other weekend to my dad's house, that was part of the divorce decree. No woman was allowed to call my dad during the time that me and my younger brother were there. But when we leave, my middle brother was still there and saw it. Me and my younger brother are not married, in our 30s, both have degrees, no children. My middle brother does not have a degree, 4 children, 3 baby mothers. Both raised by the same parent, but we were exposed to 2 totally different things at times. What is he doing? He's just modeling. Make sense? That's how serious. He's just modeling. Yeah. And oftentimes, as a parent, you model what you know. You know, your parents have taught you, you kind of just model what you know. It's through a trial and error type of thing. You try to keep the same pattern. It's just modeling what you know. Okay? So we talk about social learning. That's what it's all about. You have to observe to create the example. For this modeling to occur, you must observe. That's huge. For modeling to occur, you must observe. How many of you ever seen a toddler just finished watching Transformers, Batman, Superman, WrestleMan, WWF, WWE? What does that 6-year-old do as soon as he finishes watching? He reenacts everything he saw. Jumps off the couch. He thinks he can fly. He's tumbling, suplex, whatever else the wrestle people say. Why? He's observed. He's watched. Now he has to implement. He has to imitate. That's all social learning is all about. Okay? Imitating actions. You need to know anything? No. With social learning, make sure you understand it is also stored and may not be used to later use. Okay? You can also store observation and not use to later use. Cooking is a big example. You might, but maybe not. Perfect example would be those people who have children and all of a sudden they go, oh my God, I just said what my mom told me. I sound just like my mother. That would be that time. Okay? Okay, so in regards to Bandura, for you to learn in this aspect, you have to first pay attention. You have to retain an image of what you see. Pay attention, retain an image of what you see, be able to reproduce the behavior, and have a motivation to do so. Pay attention, have an image, be able to produce or reproduce the image, and be motivated to do so. In this aspect as well, the person must have an advantage in regards to the consequences or reward from the behavior. The person must have some type of advantage for the consequence or reward of the behavior. In other words, this person must feel like this is something is gained through doing this. Okay? I only do it because I know something is gained from doing so. Okay, so this is Bobo's experiment. This is the little boy who's actually imitating what he saw from the violent video. So he's throwing Bobo, kicking Bobo. He's literally just imitating what he saw on the video, which is what we see in relationships a lot of times. A man who hits a woman is usually just imitating what they saw growing up. Okay? And that's that chapter. You are now ready to take the quiz. Correct? I'm not feeling everybody say correct. Correct? Is Oh no. Is there anything you're not sure about?